to abandon ship. And the Bible said that they committed themselves to the sea, those that could swim, and the rest, some on broken pieces of the ship. And it came to pass that they all escaped safe to land. Verse 2, we find a fire that was started. The Bible said, the barbarians here at Melita, we know the word Melita means sweet spot or a place of sweetness. And aren't you glad after the storms of life, God will let you get to a place of sweetness in your life? And so we find a faithful servant and a frightening storm and a fire that was started. What I'm interested in tonight is in Acts chapter 28 and verse number 3, we find fierce serpent. We find a fierce serpent. Do I have my lapel on? There we go. I just want to make sure I hear it now. We find a fierce serpent. Now, you ain't got to talk to me long enough to figure out I don't like snakes. We took the kids to the zoo this week, and I got the heebie-jeebies looking at all them snakes in there for them, because when a snake got around a preacher, he bit the preacher. And I ain't never hear that. This fire, but it's interesting that the snake did not come out until the fire got started. The snake did not explode, Brother David touched on this last year in the Bible, but the snake did not show himself until the fire started burning. I'm preaching on the thought tonight, when the fire burns, the snakes will crawl. When the fire burns, the snakes will crawl. And can I say this tonight? I believe that God is kindling a fire in our church. I believe that God is moving in a mighty way. I believe that God is stirring in an element of revival. But honey, let me tell you something. When that fire's burning, be ready for the snakes to start crawling. You see, snakes don't like the fire. Snakes don't want to be around the fire. Snakes do not want to even be associated with the fire. They're on down the road to a place where there is no fire, because they don't like the fire that is in this. God blew through this place in a mighty way. We had 2 unscheduled weeks of revival meeting break out. At that camp that year, we had 25 saved in 1 week. I mean, God blew through. The church was growing. The offers were up. We were booming left and right. And we come back and had revival. And I got to preaching these messages about the fire and been talking about them snakes crawling out and coming out and how the devil. And you know what happened when the fire got started around here, and when we wanted to keep the fire burning, you know what started happening? The snakes started crawling, and the snakes started getting in the way and getting on the way out. Amen. Anybody listen to me? I believe there's a reason God did not let me. We needed this tonight in retrospective, and to be a message of warning, to be reminded that yes, God is doing a work here, and yes, the fire is burning, and yes, burning. Them snakes will start crawling out, and they will expose themselves. Fire will always expose a snake. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 things about this snake. I've got 3 things, and then 3 things under those 3 things, and then I got another things under those 3 things, and then we'll go eat. Don't get nervous. It won't take me long to say it. Let me tell you some things about this snake. First of all, this tried to defile Paul. The Bible said it was a venomous beast. I don't like snakes, and especially I don't like, what kind of snakes are you scared of? I'm only scared of 5 kinds of snakes. Big ones, little ones, poisonous, non-poisonous ones, and rubber ones. That's the only kind of 5 snakes I'm scared of. I hate snakes, but I really, really hate those poisonous snakes. I got to reading today, going back over these notes and making sure I wrote things down right, correctly about the snake bite and about the venom, the poison of a snake and a snake venom. There's 3 different kind of venoms that will attack kind of parts of the human body. First of all, there's a snake venom that will attack the brain. Then a serpent releases this venom victim, that certain poisons will attack the brain of the victim. And can I say this? Here's Paul. He's got out of this storm and he's trying to do right, and he sees the fire started and he don't want the fire to go out. And so the Bible said he gets a bundle of sticks and he's going to continue that fire in his life, to continue that fire that he needs on that island. But while he is doing the work of God, this snake bites his hand in an attempt to attack his mind. And may I remind you this tonight, if you get snake bitten, the devil's going to try to fight your mind. The Bible said in the book of Romans, chapter number 8, verse 5 and 6, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. No wonder Paul gave us this Acts 6:17, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. You know why God said to take the helmet of salvation? Because there's a serpent out there. There's a snake bite out there that you and put thoughts in your mind that the Bible is not true, and the church is not right, and the preacher's lost his mind, and mom and dad's just crazy, and you need something else better in your life, and you need a contemporary movement, or you need something a little less loud. Honey, I'm telling you, better watch the snake bite that'll attack your brain and attack your mind. In fact, there's a snake that. Well, get on Facebook. You can see people have lost their mind. Amen. I've never seen a day what we're living in. This snake, it'll attack the brain. Another venom, it'll attack the body. They say snake venom will also attack the muscles and the ability to move, almost putting a paralysis upon its victim. There'll not be a spiritual application. The devil will put some venom in you because he doesn't want you to move closer to God. He not only wants to battle your mind, he wants to be a boulder to your movement toward God. I quoted this morning, draw nigh to God, He'll draw nigh to you. You take a step towards God, God will take a step towards you. And the devil, better than Christians, know the Bible. And so the devil knows that if he can get you blocked down and get you locked down and get you not moving towards God, that God will not be moving towards you, and you will not make any spiritual advancement in your Christian life. That snake bite, is this making sense? Attack the body. Then some snake venom will attack your blood. This is very interesting. I was reading about this. Snake venom will also attack your blood and place poisonous toxins into your blood system that will cause your blood to turn to mush. Now, I don't know about you, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies reading that. So as a preacher, what's the spiritual application? Well, I need somebody to say amen right here. Cannot take away my salvation. He cannot contaminate the blood of Christ. He cannot stop me from being saved. We ought to rejoice in that. We're in the Father's hand. We're in Christ. Christ is in us. Thank God for that. But here's the application. I said, the devil will get his poison in you. Well, you don't enjoy the blood like you used to. You don't enjoy Calvary like you used to. Whether you're focused on everything else. You're focused on it. You've got your heart and your mind off the main thing. The main thing is Calvary. The main thing is Christ. The main thing is the gospel. The main thing is sinners being saved. And we need to keep the main thing the main thing. But the devil is good at trying to defile God's people and battling their mind and battling their body and battling their enjoyment of the things of God. The snake wanted to defile Paul. Number two, this snake tried to discourage Paul. Think about this. If the devil he'll try to discourage you. Here's 3 ways that Paul could have become discouraged with this snake bite. Number one, he could have become discouraged in his work. I mean, this man's working. A stack of sticks on the fire. He's trying to keep it going so it won't go out. And while he's busy in the work of God, this snake attacks him. Paul could have said, I'm trying to do a good thing, this snake comes out after me. Sometimes we feel this way when we're trying to do something for the Lord. The devil will do all he can to discourage us from completing the work that God has called us to do. He don't care how he stops you. He don't care if he gets you hooked on drugs or he just gets you full of apathy and complacency. As long as he's got you stopped, he's happy. Amen. You can come to church every service and be full of complacency and apathy, and the devil be thrilled with your life. What he is with the man who's on a bar stool tonight drinking his paycheck away, he'll be just as happy. He can get you to a point. The Bible said, woe to them that are at ease in Zion. You know where Zion was? It was Jerusalem. You know what was in Jerusalem? The temple where they worshiped God. And so Amos said, it is possible to be living where the glory of God is fallen and become at ease and become full of apathy and become full of complacency. And if it was possible living in Jerusalem where the glory of and the people could see it, how much more is it possible in 2018 on 270 Duns Mountain Church Road at Safe Harbor Baptist Church to become full of complacency and apathy? Amen. He tried to discourage him from his work. Can I say this? He tried to discourage him from his witness. Remember, Paul is God's man. He's the apostle to the Gentiles, author of over half the New Testament, a man in favor with God. But when the snake attacks him, watch this. Oh, he's a murderer. That's what he is. That man's a murderer. Vengeance suffereth not. He's a murderer. Now, let's just be real honest. Paul was a murderer. Before he got saved, that's what he done. Can I say this? When you're trying to go forward, you're burning your life, the devil will bring up everything you've ever done in your past. What you was. I remember what you used to be. Those things that you've confessed. Here, hey, can I let you know something? Here's how to know if it's God bringing up sin in your life or the devil bringing it. If you have not confessed it and not forsook it, it's God. It's God bringing it up. If you've not confessed that sin and forsook it, it's God. But if you've confessed it and forsaken it, it's the devil. Amen. As I preach this, sin comes up in my mind. Well, I want to find out who it's coming from then. Because if it's coming from God, I need to get it right. And it's coming from go back to hell where he belongs. Amen. But he's trying to discourage. And watch this now too. You know, this witness here, he's to attack the character of Paul. Paul's a man of God. Paul is on his way to stand before Caesar, and they think Paul's going to be tried. Paul's looking for an opportunity to stand before Caesar and give the gospel. That's why Paul wanted to go. They said, we're going to get Paul, we're going to stand before the most powerful man in the world and preach the gospel. Bring it on. While he's trying to do something for God, people start attacking his character and start attacking his name. Been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. And some of you have too. Trying to do right, trying to live for God, trying to stand for what's right, trying to read the Bible and pray and live right, and everybody and their brother starts attacking you. Feels like everywhere you turn, you get snake bit. Amen. We find this snake tried to defile him. This snake tried to discourage him. This snake tried to detain him. The Bible said the serpent fastened on the Paul his hand. Ain't it amazing that he attacked the Paul? And just to be careful, he attacked the working part of Paul. He tried to attack. I forgot to give you the third subpoint. He tried to discourage him in his work, his witness, and his will. Paul beaten, suffering, shipwrecked. Now he's stranded on an island, a prisoner, and this snake bites him. Might be a good reason to quit, Paul. The devil can't defeat you. He'll discourage you and try to get you to quit. He tried to detain him. So the devil wants to deter from burning your life. Notice this. It was present. Paul's surroundings on the bank of the sea was a perfect place for a serpent to be. This world, we must remember, this is Satan's domain, and he's around. The Bible says in 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. He is the prince and the power of the air. This is his domain. It was pursuing. He didn't go for any of those Roman prisoners. Roman soldiers, excuse me. It didn't go for any of those other prisoners. It wasn't a Disney cruise they was on. It was a prison ship. There's some bad boys on that boat. Bad boys on the boat. That's pretty good right there. All B's. There's some bad boys on that boat. And the one who's trying to do right, that's the one who gets bit. That can get a little discouraging. I mean, here you are. You're trying to do right. Trying to live for God. You're cold. You're wet from the sea. So you see this fire starting. The least I can do is put some wood on it. Here I am trying to do something right for God. I'm getting snake bit. And it's pursuing me. It goes after me. Why me, Lord? Can we put a little knot in there? Why not? We don't see Paul saying, why is this happening to me? Paul knew about that. It was present, it was pursuing, it was also, it hung on to detain you and keeping that fire burning. It hung on. I'll just be honest with you. Natural tendencies, if I'm carrying a load of sticks, and in that load of sticks, a snake comes out and bites my hand, forget about the fire. I'm dropping the stick off. Try to detain him. Give me 3 things I'm done. Here's what I want to preach. So how did Paul respond? Notice 3 things I'm done. Let me give you this. When you're calling, what do you do? Number 1, I find the reaction of the servant. And he shook off the beast to the fire and felt no harm. Notice this. He did not lose focus. Paul didn't stop and examine the serpent. He didn't give his critics time. He didn't give his critics the time of day. Sounded like he was marking and avoiding it. He didn't say, well, hey, see you, Mr. Snake. I'm so glad you've latched onto my hand. Come on now. You're biting me. That's a good little snake. And your entertainment. He didn't lose his fire. Fire didn't go out. The serpent to have the fire and would have went somewhere else. I was mowing grass out here one day. We got that. I call it the Safe Harbor Hoss. That big old lawnmower. We got 6-inch cut. I mean, it's a bad to the bone. I like it. And I was out here cutting. It's got 3 blades on it, 6-inch cut. That thing's a hoss. It's a beast, man. Cut this yard in 2 hours. It'll go. And I was over here cutting on the back, and I'm in this big old machine. And all of a sudden, I turn, and I see this snake fall in the wood. And you know what I done? I went, whoa! And turned that thing the other way. And in 2 seconds, I was over there next to the dumpster. And I'm on this big mower. I'm scared of snakes. And most people say, you know what? I let that snake have that part of the property. It didn't get cut that week. You don't like it? You go cut it over there. I ain't. I saw a snake skin last week, even going back over there again. Because with a snake skin, there's a bigger snake than that snake skin somewhere. Amen. But Paul said, you ain't getting my... I'm freezing to death. I've been beaten. I've not had anything to eat in a while. You ain't getting my snake. You ain't getting my fire snake. He didn't lose his focus. He didn't lose his fire. He didn't lose his faith. Paul didn't sit down and say, well, I've been snake bit. Might as well just quit. Woe is me. Here's the Baptist national anthem. Maybe this will touch your heart. Gloom to agony on me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Any of my hee-haw fans recognize that. God bless you. Kids, if you don't know what hee-haw is, go home and YouTube it. It'll be a blessing to you. But amen. Especially that I searched the world over and thought I found that you were gone. Amen. So that's wicked. It probably is. But y'all pray for me. That's an easily besetting sin. Amen. What I'm saying is, I've been snake bit. Might as well just sit down and quit. It's so hard living for God. Paul said, I'm going to keep on going. I talk real plain. I've been snake bit. I ain't talking about physical. I would not be here if I'd been snake bit physically. Funeral service. Whether it was poisonous or not. Snake won't hurt you. Well, I can't quit preaching now. I don't want God to call you in the rain. I'm telling you, when you're snake bit, sometimes it's easy to quit. There's been times I thought about quitting. Don't look at me like that. You've had Mondays where you didn't want to go to work and you want to quit your job. Somebody says, is this a job to you? Well, yes and no. It's not a job, but it is my livelihood. It's what I do. I'm the live of the gospel, is what Paul said. Sometimes sometimes I have came before, name was on the sign, and people were expecting me to be here. I didn't have the privilege to lay out like, amen. I didn't have, and I'm not trying to give you a sob story. I'm just saying I'm not preaching something to you that I've not lived. Because it's going to be real tempting to want to quit. Because anybody can quit. Anybody can. But it takes somebody special to finish. To finish. I was watching y'all right? I'm not talking, y'all okay? I was watching a documentary yesterday. Y'all know I love baseball, and I was watching a documentary on John Smoltz, pitch for the Braves. Man, when he first come up, 87, 88, 89, 90, he was terrible. I mean, just terrible. I mean, he got hit all over the place. So the Braves, he got traded to the Braves in 1988 for Doyle Alexander. A great trade. I'm a baseball historian. I'm full of useless facts. I was watching him. He was 2-11 at the All-Star break. That's 2 wins, 11 losses. That was actually a pretty good record for the Braves back then. I mean, it was bad. And John Smoltz, I was watching him yesterday. He's a Hall of Famer now. Over 200 wins, 154 saves in the Hall of Fame. After having Tommy John surgery, I mean, great pitcher. I don't really go much for an athlete, say they're a Christian specific. He says he's a born-again Christian. I don't know about that. That's between him and God. I've always loved John Smoltz. And he said most managers would not have stuck with a pitcher that was 2-11. The manager of the Braves, he said he stuck with him. And he found himself the last day of the season, Game 7 of the World Series, pitching against a man named Jack Minnesota Twins. And I seen this before, and it really got my mind yesterday. They went back and forth. None of them giving up a run. Back and forth. It was 0-0. And in the bottom of the 8th, John said, I let a man get on, and Bobby took me out of the game. He said, Jack Morris stayed in. This is nowadays baseball. Jack Morris pitched 10 innings, and he was the starter. Won the World Series. And John said, I wonder if he said, I've wondered that for my whole career. He said, I was pitching my greatest game that I ever had that night. And I wonder if I would have stayed in and told him, no, I'm not coming out. I'm not going to quit. He said, because I didn't argue with him. When he come to get me, I didn't argue. I went in. He said, I wonder if I'd have said no. You know what? There's a lot of Christians. You're on the verge of winning. You're on the verge of getting, but you quit. And when it's time for you to get out of the game, you're easily, okay, that's fine with me. Amen. There's the reaction of the serpent. Number 2, the removal of the serpent. Notice him. Paul made a decision. He didn't want that serpent to be attached to him. He decided he's going to do something about it. Before you can get rid of the serpent in your life, you got to make a decision to do so. Notice the detachment. I'm hurrying. Shook off the beast. Sometimes you've got to shake some things off to go on for God. Then notice the direction. Notice where he shook the beast off into. Notice this now. And he shook the beast off into the fire. What exposed him was where he sent him. Can I say this? When that snake comes to bite you, you send him back to the fire. Amen. There's the reaction of the serpent, the removal of the serpent. Then last of all, there's the response of the sinners. First, they thought it was a murder. Notice their observation in verse 6. They're watching this the whole time. They looked. Can I say this? You know why you don't need to quit on God? People at your school is watching you. They're observing. The Bible said they changed their mind. They thought it was a murder and they changed their mind, so he's a God. But then there's the opportunity. There's an opportunity to minister to these people at Melita. You know why he had that opportunity? Because he didn't allow one snake bite to get him off this. What will it take for you to quit? What would thankful for that? Because there's been times I've wondered, God to speak plain with you, I've wondered, am I done here? Is God done with me here? Have I done everything I can here? I'm just talking to you plain. And I say, you shouldn't be so honest. Well, what am I supposed to do? Lie? I've wondered that before. God let me know He's not done with me here. And so just because I've been snake bit a few times, we're going to shake it back off into the fire and go on. Because there was an Emerson that needed to be saved this morning. Amen. There's folks that need to be men. There's folks that need to get right. And did. There's still sick. There's homes that need preaching. And I'm not the only preacher out there, but I'm the preacher for this place. So when you get snake bit, don't quit. Back in the fire where it belongs. Notice He sent the serpent, which is the type of the devil, He sent him back to the fire. Sent him back to hell where he belongs. When you get all that to hell, let it go back to hell where it belongs. You keep on going. That happened pretty early in Paul's ministry. Kept on writing, kept on working, kept on worshiping. Just kept on. You know what he said at the end of the day? He said, you know what? Fought a pretty good fight. I finished my course and I kept the faith. If he would have, I don't think we ever would have read that in Timothy 4. You won't have a 2 Timothy 4 until you deal with Acts 28. When the fire burns, the snakes will crawl. Can I say this to you tonight? The fire's burning. Some people don't think it is. We're struggling. We're going down. I don't know where we hear all this stuff at. I wish somebody said that to me, but they won't. We're struggling. We're going down. We're not making it. I heard somebody say the other day we only had 50 people come. Where they go. Can't count. Maybe it's because they can only see this side on the video. I don't know. Hello. I'm over it, man. I'm over it, man. I'm over it. It doesn't bother me no more. I'm just telling you. But when fire's burning, even if it's a little fire, it'll draw some snakes out. But you know what's good about also had them wood stoves, had a fire burner, had a fireplace. It was comfortable to where everybody would congregate in the evening. I told this story. Come on, Grace, I'm done. I told this story before. Church in town caught on fire one night. And everybody was watching. They couldn't stop the fire. It then got started, and everybody was just standing around watching the church burn. The preacher looked. There was a man standing there he never seen before. He said, "Sir, I don't know you," because all the congregation was there. He said, "Sir, I don't know you. I've never seen you at our church before." He said, "Well, I've never seen your church on fire." May God, I'm not talking about a physical fire, but may God set our church on fire and people come watch us burn. That old Welsh revival they had in the last probably real revival that swept America was in the 1900s, early 1900s. By the way, there's not been a real revival in America since that woman spoke in tongues in 1904 in California. Since 1904. Look it up. It's facts. When that woman spoke in tongues on Azusa Street in California, they started imitating it. But anyway, that's another message for another time. But people were getting saved in Maine, there in the Welsh Islands. And there was a writer in England who had heard about the revival meeting, and he come to write about the revival. And he saw an old man standing on the side of the street. He said, "Sir, can you tell me where the big on?" He said, "You want to know where the big revival is going on?" He said, "Yeah." He took his shirt and unbuttoned his shirt. He said, "Right here, sir. It's going on right here. I ain't interested, unless God is, I ain't interested in the big, but I'm interested in the big here." Can I tie in what I preached this morning? Will you be the one? When the fire burns, snakes will crawl. Let's stand together, head bowed, and our eyes closed. I've tried to preach the message that God put on my heart tonight. I hope you'll respond if God spoke in your heart. Hey, some of you young people that's got right with God, or some things this week you got saved. Some of you adults that's got some things right with God this week. Just because you got right with God doesn't mean the devil's going to lay down and play possum. The snakes will begin to crawl. You better be ready for it. And that fire's got a little leak in your life. Get some sticks, throw it on fire. That's God's story. It's on fire this week. And it might be what our church needed to get that fire going again. Get it burning again. Now we get some of these backlogs catch on fire. Not been able to connect with anything. God has get on fire from God. Folks are praying.